Welcome to a very special episode of Milk and Friends. And I say very special because I usually don't do Wednesdays, I usually do Sundays. And today is my daughter's death anniversary. I don't know how to say that yet. I don't know if I should say death date or angel date. I kind of go through both. But oh, my bad. And today I have my lovely cousin, Margaret. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Thank you for having me.
Ah man, thank you for being on here. And I know I know it was short notice, but I said this is my cousin, so she's gonna say yes. And I need to get out the habit of doing that because I know your time is precious and you travel a lot, so I shouldn't just assume. But we are here, and we did this last year, so we don't have to lollygag. We can just jump
That's
right
right.
in.
Hmm.
But just to a lot has happened in a year. A
Absolutely.
lot has happened.
Hmm.
Um, I may be sipping a little bit on this episode. I told my mom I wouldn't be drinking on my podcast, but I might sip a little bit. So
I don't say if I drink agua.
uh, I drink beatbox. So.
I might need a little.
Anyway, so a lot has happened within the year that we last had a show together.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, I've seen you started doing your show more. Kudos to
Mhm.
you, and you actually did a show before this. So thank you for making time for me. Um, I had a baby. You know what I mean. I had a beautiful baby girl, but you also had a major loss.
Yes, I had two major losses.
You want to go into that?
So we met clearly in April, and then May, like almost a couple weeks later, because on Mother's Day of last year, my ex-husband, I call him the husband of my youth. We were 26 and 27 when
Hmm.
we got married, and the father of my two kids passed away suddenly on Mother's Day.
Last year?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I didn't know that.
yep. That
Oh
was before.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
so that happened Mother's Day, and then December 5th, my fiance passed away suddenly too.
This December 5th.
This December 5th. Hmm.
Now, what's
Yeah.
like when you say suddenly? What does that mean?
Heart attack. He had a heart attack.
Were you there?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So like, where was he?
So he was out with a friend, and they wouldn't beat. What was the name of the drink you're drinking? They weren't doing that, but it was
Beatbox.
the night of the game. It was the night of the um, Georgia Alabama game
Hmm.
that Saturday night, and yeah, he just fell out.
At the game.
He wasn't in the game. They were out having a drink,
Yeah.
and just yeah, he fell down. By the time the paramedics got there, they couldn't resuscitate him.
And when were y'all supposed to get married?
Like that's right.
Uh,
That's right. That's right. That's why I escaped. That's why I.
yo,
That's
I did
why I
not know
go. Yeah.
this much. So 2 months. Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
I thought this episode might have to be about you. Okay. Wow. Okay. So how are you dealing with that? So because I seen when it first happened, I
Hmm.
saw you seemed to be in very very high spirits.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I text you here and there. I didn't really know what to say, but what stage do you feel like you're in? Because I feel like you grieve positively.
Well, I tell you what, I have learned to be intentional with the grieving, but I can talk like that now just because I've had to teach these skills. It's different when you have to teach it than when you have to live it.
Right.
Um, I lost my mother in a really sudden catastrophic way too when I was 21. And that took a long time. So
Yeah.
I was just depending on time to help me heal back then. But now I know that, yeah, that you need time, but you also have to do things. You also have to apply certain recovery interventions to help you manage all of the emotions. You know what I mean, like all the feels. It's not just sadness, it's
Yeah.
rage, it's anxiety, it's
Did y'all live together?
we did.
So
Mhm.
what is, I mean, and like one thing, I mean, and I'm just saying this because I'm pretty sure but I'm just saying this for if anybody watching, I don't want anybody think I'm insensitive, but I'm just
Mhm.
gonna just ask blunt questions, you know what I mean? If that's cool.
Oh, that's look. This
So
is life. Like this is life. This
so
is life.
what
This is what's happening to
what was the night like? Like
the night.
when it happened?
Like, look. I didn't really find out until the morning because
Mm,
even though we lived together, I also have a place. So I was there that night. He was gonna
uh,
come and eat some of my broth. I cooked a broth. He was gonna come
yeah,
and eat some of my Dominican broth.
yeah.
So in the morning is when his brother called, to tell
Uh-huh.
me he was in the hospital. So I thought he was in the hospital at first. We thought he just had like, an anxiety attack or something like that. And then, like within an hour, he called back to say he's gone. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, gone what? What do you mean, gone where? What are you talking? What do you mean, gone?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But yeah. So it's just like, you go into what I went into this like state of where life doesn't seem like life,
Right.
and like
Hmm.
I kept telling my sisters, I feel as if I'm in a tunnel and I'm hearing this weird big space where life doesn't seem real, it doesn't feel real.
Right.
Uh, I was actually in the car and my son was driving, thankfully. Um, and yeah, I didn't want to freak him out.
So you didn't tell him?
I told him, but I kind of prepped him a little bit so that it wouldn't be just like boom,
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
yeah.
think it was because of alcohol?
Mm-mm. I mean, alcohol doesn't cause a heart attack.
So it just kind of like just happened?
It's just life, Just he just happened to be there, but
So you
it
so
could have happened anywhere. Essentially, it could have
so
happened anywhere.
so then he passed in December. You're supposed to get married in February. So fast forward to the wedding day.
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
what what are your emotions like?
Oh man. So I couldn't stay here. Like I just couldn't. I was like, I can't be here. I'm gonna go to
Did you go like Rome or some shit?
we did.
Yeah.
That was his favorite place to travel to.
Hmm.
And he kept telling me, yeah, we gotta do it in Rome. We gotta do it in Rome. That's where we're gonna go. I was like, nah, I like Portugal. Girls, we just like to all right, we just wanna
Yeah.
nah, it's gotta be Italy. So, but yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And I brought my girls with me because like the thought of staying here was
Yeah.
just so overwhelming. It was excruciating. And so we went to Venice and then Rome. Um, and in a really beautiful way, like the way like life just has its way of working.
Right.
The first day we went out and we were eating at this little restaurant, and the guy, we're ready to leave, and he's like, you don't want dessert? And we're like, nah, we're stuffed, we're full. And he's like, no, no, I got this little treat for you. I got this little treat for you. He comes out with a flaming creme brulee,
Hmm.
which is his favorite dessert. Yes,
Wow.
his favorite dessert. And this dude, this Italian dude, goes off talking about love and how you can love a person from, from thousands of miles away. It's just, love never dies, that kind of thing. I'm like, are you in there somewhere, bro?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So that was that and other little synchronicities, you call them little things that happen, and you're like, oh, made me feel really connected in a weird way.
Mhm.
So that was the first time I felt like a little bit of stitching in my heart, to be like, okay, maybe he's not that far away.
Right.
After the dessert and the talk, the deep talk by the guy.
So so then so you say you try to travel at least once a month?
Yeah. So
And,
so so this happened December. January, I was like the feeling of, if I describe it, maybe you understand it because you've been through there. Like you cannot stand to be in your body.
right.
It's too much feelings. It's too much, and the feelings are heavy and
Right.
they're painful.
Mhm.
And I can't stand being in my body. And so I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go somewhere. And travel was something we really enjoyed doing. I'm like, I gotta go travel somewhere.
Right.
So I took a ticket and went off by myself to Jamaica. I'm like, yo, get me the taxi. Where the taxi man? Where the taxi? I'm going where the top 10, whatever's I can go do. And I just went. Jumped in rivers. I mean, swam with dolphins, took a ride down a raft,
Yeah,
paddling.
like do you normally travel like that, or is this
With him, I travel a lot. Like we'd go every 2 months with somewhere. You know what I mean? Like we'd
uh-huh.
just go. And he was the planner. He's like, yeah, this is top 5 restaurants. We go in here. Number one, number two. This is where we're going.
Yeah.
And I just sit and I just come along for the ride. I'm just there to look good. You know what I mean? But I had to do all of that. And
So
um,
so I mean what is what is life like now that like you're I mean cuz you're technically like single again, you know what I mean?
mhm, mhm.
Or are you?
I'm technically single.
But you know what I mean? Like do you just be like, like I just belong to this, or I know you're not even worried about that. I know you're not worried about that.
I
But
get where you're going. Ask me. Ask me.
but how are you moving forward? Because I think about that, and I think about like if I lose my girl, you know what I mean? And I know it's a lot different because like we got kids and shit,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I don't even know like if I would even want to like, you know what I mean? Like
I
go
know
on. So
exactly
I'm
what
looking at
you
you, and you just like you going, and I'm not saying you're hiding your emotions, but
mean.
you're good. You're very good at keeping yourself busy, and I applaud you for that because in my case, I wasn't shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was no staying busy. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It was just I'm literally just in the bed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like I was doing nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So to see
Yeah.
you like really doing something, and if you don't know that you lost your fiance, then you don't know that anything is wrong with you. You know what I mean?
Because the feeling I had with my mom, it felt like I was going to die.
Mhm.
So it felt like I was dying. And so I've learned that you can't just let the bottom fall out all the way, or else it'll be too hard to climb back up.
Mm.
So the first 8 weeks, I said, you know what? I'm just going to ball like a baby. I'm not going to do ish. You know what I mean? Like, so
Mhm.
I was in the bed, talking like in the bed. I was like melatonin
Yeah.
up to the,
Hmm.
just all I could do was sleep. I couldn't eat. One of my nieces is the first one who made me eat. She made me a soup after like several weeks that I was like, because I was just water. I couldn't stomach food. I couldn't,
Right.
food. Um, and then she came over and she made me a soup, chicken soup, and it tasted good enough. I think kind of broke my not having the taste to eat.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, so after the 8 weeks, that's when I said, okay, I got to get up and go. Or
Oh, so
else,
so you were down for 8 weeks.
no, I was down flat on my backside in the bed for eight
Yeah.
weeks, the first
Okay.
8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I said, if I don't do something, I'm going to be in the bed another 8 months. And I know about this thing called behavioral activation in psychology, which says no matter how horrible you're feeling, if you can come up with something you can do that has value, that has meaning, that you used to at least enjoy, you must physically make yourself get up and do it.
Right.
Because once your body, like a body in motion, stays in motion more
Mm-hmm.
easily than a body flat, like
Right.
they're in. And like my son and my daughter, like they're still grieving. So I'm,
Right. Right.
oh Lord, I can't just be like completely laid out. And he also has three boys
Damn.
that I
You
am
close with them?
to stay. Exactly, we're close.
Mm.
I am determined to help care for them.
So how old? Like older?
Six, no, they're not yet 18.
Okay. So then, is their mom still around?
Hmm. Hmm.
Or are they with their mom?
Yeah.
So you and the mom are cool?
Yeah, we're cool. So I'm the mama and she's the mama. You know what I mean? Like I'm the stepmama, but like the first day they were like, "What's gonna happen to the trip? What's gonna happen to?" I'm like, "I'm
So
here."
I mean, are you gonna be there forever?
Well, look,
Or
it's a relationship that's already been formed, that's set. So I'm gonna be there in some form forever.
right.
Hmm.
So y'all talk like
Yeah,
often?
yeah. We just went to spring break together. We just went
Where?
to spring break to Sarasota,
Where?
Florida.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Hmm.
Like you and the mom and them, or you and them?
Yeah. Yeah. Me and the mom and them and my son.
That's good, man. That's good.
Hmm.
That's wow.
Yeah. Because it's kind of a weird thing. You months out from
Yeah.
officializing a thing. It's like, well, what do you do? So it's a kind of weird space. What do you do? Do you like pretend as if the life you were creating doesn't exist, didn't exist? What do you do? So we can
Yeah.
actually, one of my fiance's sisters had a beautiful thing she said to me. She sent me something about a theory called like continuing bonds, right?
Hmm.
So you have the bond already. You choose what you do with the bond. You can continue with the bond, or you can. I think some people pretend it didn't exist, and I'm not about that because I'm a therapist. I'm all about, hey, you got to try your best to keep it clean, because if you just you cut a relationship off, for what reason? Now the kids wondering what's happening. They've already lost their dad. Now they're losing me.
Hmm.
Like, why? Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. So we're not letting it be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's good. So what stage do you feel like you're in now?
um, um, I would before I went to Sarasota, I was in the angry stage. That was mad
Hmm.
as hell. Mad as hell.
At who?
Uh,
At who?
at life,
Yeah.
at him, at death, at you know,
Yeah.
just the situation. You know,
Hmm.
After Sarasota, like each of these trips that I take, it's like I feel a different kind of infusion of something in me. So you asked me, your dad and I are cousins, of course. We're cousins. Your father happened to call while I was down in Sarasota, and I could feel the tears starting to bubble up. I was but um, yeah, I felt something like it. I don't know yet, or I can't verbalize all of it yet that
Mm.
I feel or I felt from that trip, but I came back and the whole week I was able to work. Where before that I could work one day out of the week. or at least half of the day, and I got to go be in the bed
Right,
for
right.
2 days, and I got to go in the bed. But last week I worked for most of the week, and I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, let's go, you know. So
that's good. I I was thinking about what stage I am in.
what do you
A-
think?
And last night, 'cause I work overnight,
Hmm.
and I left work early. Just wasn't mentally there, so I came home probably like at 3 o'clock or something like that. Like I work at like 1, but I came home like at 3 o'clock, and I kind of just chilled in the garage, listening to music and everything, and then you know, my mind, I'm like, okay, it's 420. You know what I'm saying? It's that date, and I cried a little bit, but then I became very like very 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 angry,
Mm.
and it was to the point that like I'm glad I live in white suburban, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because if I would have lived anywhere else, I would have been looking for trouble.
yeah,
Like I was I was livid. I was livid. Like I was so angry, and I mean I came in, chill, whatever, and then this morning, like my girl, she like she kind of just lets me be, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't
mhm,
know how to approach it, you know what I mean? But I broke down a lot, you know what I mean? And I usually have been good about crying about that, you know what I mean?
mhm.
But today, I don't know, like to this day and our birthdays is like the days that I wish that I can just skip,
Just
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so this year, so this is the it's been 6 years. So I now I think about like, okay, that this is the day, okay, whatever. But now, like for today, I was thinking about like 1 p.m. What was I doing?
Yeah.
2 p.m. What was I doing? 4 p.m. Like this is when it started happening.
Mhm,
5 p.m. is when, you know what I mean? And
mhm,
so I was living through that,
mhm.
and I was thinking to myself, how the fuck am I gonna do this year after year? You know,
Yeah,
just
mhm.
like I told you earlier, like at first I didn't want to do this, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's parts in me where I try to convince myself to forget that this ever happened, you know,
Mhm.
and I mean it's grieving is a fucked up thing,
Ooh.
because I there was a point where I was gonna try to just forget that she ever existed.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know what I mean? But 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 I couldn't, you know. And
Yeah.
so as I'm going through this, and then I don't have any like suicidal thoughts or anything, because now I have a new baby.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now I have a new baby, and at first it was I didn't know, like of course I loved her, but I didn't know how I was like in what type of way I was gonna love her, because I was like, in my mind, I don't want to be disrespecting Ro and
Yeah,
this and that, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then I think it was Devin was like 3 months, and I remember telling my girl like I really love this girl. You know what I mean? Like it just happened, you know? And I know babies are babies, and you know, you can be superstitious if they whatever, but I have Rose picture like hung up on my wall on my side of the bed, and like for Devin still looks at it, but like for the first like 4 months, like all she would do is just like stare at it. You know what I mean? And in my head, you know, because I know that, like I said, grief is a crazy thing. Like I
Mhm.
know that she's her own person, but then I'll be like, Ro, are you in there? You know what I
I
mean?
I know.
But then I tell myself like, no, Rose not in there. Like
Yeah,
this is Devin. You know what I mean? This
yeah.
is, you know. But I feel that there's it's a weird it's weird.
It is weird. You know what you just said about like feeling like as if it's not real life.
Hmm.
Like I feel like very often, like how can this be real?
Right,
Like this doesn't make much sense. It doesn't make sense.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that this year was, I mean, I don't want to say it was my hardest year, because it wasn't, because I was busy all day, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was like a eye-opening, defining type year, because now I have this grief process, but
Yeah.
then I also have this baby who needs me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, her mom's at work, so it's just me and her.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like, you know, I talk to her all the time, and you know, just tell her about her sister and stuff. But in my mind, I'm still like, this isn't right. Like it's not right, you know. And
Is there a feeling of like sneaky kind of guilt feeling, like a kind of like, what, almost like, am I cheating on Ro?
at first it was, at
Mm-hmm.
first there was, up until like that 3 month
3
point.
months mark. Yeah.
And then like I was like, okay, like I get it now, you know what I mean? Because like I feel like the hardest thing for me was, you know, you tell yourself, I don't want to say lie to yourself, but you tell yourself like everything's gonna be good, blah blah blah. So in my mind, I'm like, you know, when Devin's born, I'm gonna be good. I'm not
Right.
gonna be grieving no more. You know what I mean? And like she was born, and I remember being in the hospital, looking at her, and then
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about Rowan and being like, okay. And then like a month down, I'm just like, why am I still grieving? And then I think I was talking to my mom, and it was like, you're never gonna stop grieving. And I know that, but I tried to lie to myself, like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know, stop. But now, like I tell my girl, because like with Devin, I'm very overprotective. If
Mm-hmm.
she farts the wrong way, I jump up
Right.
and I, you know, go grab her. And you know, she tell me sometimes, she's like, you know, you can just let her cry sometimes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's true, but I'm doing all the things that I
You
wasn't doing
wish.
before. You know what I mean? And
Wish.
now, and the first time, because you know, like Ro and Devin are the first children of mine that I was there when they were born. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so the first time, like I was there, I was best dad, but you still take it for granted,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
in your mind that would never happen to you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so now this time, I don't take nothing for granted. You know what
Being
I mean?
intentional and present.
Yeah,
Intentional and
yeah.
present. Yeah.
And I mean, it's a it's a learning, it's a learning experience. But this time around, you know, and I mean, I say this like, because in one of my posts I said I feel like I haven't really just got to grieve. You know what I mean? And I feel
Mhm.
like this time around, I really haven't, because you know, like my hands are full. You know what I mean? Like I got a new baby and all that, and I'm not saying nothing bad about that, but now
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
learning to kind of do both. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To grieve on my own time, and it
Absolutely.
sucks, but like as a parent, you just have to find time. You know what I mean? You
Absolutely.
can't just break down whenever you want to, whatever. So I mean, I find my certain times or whatever, but it it's a bittersweet thing as a parent.
I
Like
understand.
it's very bittersweet, and it's nerve wracking, because I lost my daughter at 9 months. You know what I mean? My Devin right now is 6 months. So
Yeah.
for me, passing 9 months, sadly saying, is a milestone.
It is a milestone. It is a
And,
milestone.
and I'm ready for that, but I'm so scared of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
because because you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. And honestly, I'm gonna say this, but, and I thought about this, and I was like, you know what, you shouldn't say this,
Mhm.
because it's Facebook and it's public.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do anything. But my anger last night, if
Mhm.
the babysitter would have been in any vicinity that I knew of, I would have killed her. Like
Mhm.
I would have went out and killed her last night because I was like,
Yeah.
you know, shit just seems it just seems weird. You know what I mean? Because my daughter suffocated around pillows, yada yada yada, blah blah. She rolled into it. But when I look at my 6 month daughter and I see her roll into a pillow, get up, whatever, whatever. And so sometimes in my head, I'm thinking like, what the fuck really happened? But then
Mhm.
I'm thinking like DJ, like you might be doing the most, like your head, like you know what I'm saying? I
I
don't
know.
want to think that somebody intentionally did something, or
Yeah.
I'm looking at my daughter now and she's just up all over the place, and you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't know.
I
Maybe I'm doing the most.
I don't think you're doing the most. What it is, I think, is just the mind trying to come to grips with just
Right.
the craziness of it all.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure it out. It's like your brain is trying to make sense of it because it's like it just feels really like what the WTF? Like make no sense. Like
Yeah.
what? Like you know? So yeah, it. I totally get what you're saying. I totally get it. I
And
totally get it.
I'm just like, yeah, so I mean, it's it's a weird thing. And I mean, I'm glad that I'm not in contact with the babysitter because we used to, you know what I'm saying? But I just think like I'm just going through these stages and like I like my mind is just coming up with different scenarios and things like that. Like I said, like if she would have been around me last night, like I would have killed her. You know what I mean?
As you're saying that, I wonder, do you think it has something to do with maybe like the helplessness, like you feel like you because you're seeing how present you are. I mean, you're a good dad,
Yeah.
and like, and maybe, society is like, hey, parents are supposed to be able to protect and take
Yeah.
care of kids and just feeling like not even having had the chance
Yeah.
to do that.
You know what's crazy? You said that parents to protect. When Devin, I forget when we took her to the doctor the first time, but it's when they were born or like a month or two and they gotta get their shots or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember like I walked out the room because I hate to see her cry. And
Hmm.
I took her to the doctor yesterday. She was supposed to get 3 shots and a drink, but she didn't because she had a fever. So they said bring her back next week. And
Hmm.
and this was my first time like taking a baby to the doctor by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I had to do all the shit. I fucking change her diaper, all types of stuff. You know what I mean? But and I remember thinking like, oh man, she's gonna have to get these shots, and I don't want to see her cry. But something clicked in my head
Mm-hmm.
and was like, yo, you gotta be there because she needs to know that you are going to comfort her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, man, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm 35 and I have what, like 5 kids. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still learning, man. It's crazy.
I was just about to say, you're just growing. She's just stretching you. Both of them are stretching you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're weighing Ro on this hand and you're uh,
Mm-hmm.
weighing Devin on the other side. And you're right, and your mom is right because I remember feeling when I had my second child, like I was wondering, would I be able to love her as much as I loved the first one because she was brand new. I
Right.
wonder if that's similar to what you were feeling with,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like, am I going to be able to love her like
Yeah.
for herself? Yeah.
Yeah. And that is exactly some of the thoughts I had, and I would have to like correct myself and be like, man, you can't think like that. But I'm like, well, be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? And this year, like after like with having Devin and everything, like I've had a lot of being honest with myself moments
Yes. Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
it's easy to lie to yourself and it's
Yes.
easy to coast on that lie. You know what I mean? But once you have something that kind of like just jumps in the middle of whatever your smoothness and you
Hmm.
kind of have to figure some shit out. And so that's what that's what I've been doing. But it's I don't know. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
But I mean it's also, like I think to myself, what when Devin grows up, like, am I gonna tell her about Ro? You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna, because I never want to force anything. You know what I mean? Because I talk to my kids about it, and I
Mm.
mean they talk about it, but they know how. Have you seen that Kanye documentary on
Not
Netflix?
no.
Well, like in the
Like being what's it
documentary,
called? Being Jeezy. What's it called? What's the name of
cheesy genius,
the
genius. But
Oh,
you
look,
you could you could tell you in Georgia talking about some Jeezy. but but
I just like dopeness. You know what I'm saying? Just dopeness.
you gotta watch it though. It's really good.
I will. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna
But
watch it.
there's a time, in the documentary where he's Kanye, you know what I mean, doing the whatever, and then you see the change after his mom died,
After his mom.
and I relate to that a lot because
You.
I I look at how I was, like I was the most confident, the most outgoing, never nothing negative, you know what I mean? And then once this happened, like I low self-esteem, I don't
Yeah.
fucking go nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm just always grumpy and shit.
Yeah.
And I equate that to my life, and then I look at it and say, how okay, how you gonna go back to being you? You know what I mean? And then in reality, it's like you're not. Like I'm never, and that's what kills me a lot, is that I'm never gonna be the same me ever again.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that I would say, like I understand, I can relate to that feeling of, well, who am I now?
Right.
Who am I now? But who am I now is also an opportunity. Well, again, I can think that way because I've thought that way a long time, and I have to teach that day in, day out. It's also an opportunity for who am I going to be?
Right.
For who am I going to be? So, not being who I used to be doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Mm.
Like because the space of their energy is also an opportunity. Like, you were kind of asking, well, hey, what are you going to do? Because there's a big part of me that's like, look, I'm going to write it out. Like, what's the lady's name? Martin Luther King's wife. I'm just going to write
Coretta.
it out. Yeah, I'm saying I'm just
Yeah.
going to write it out.
Yeah.
But then you're in a certain state, you're in a certain phase. Um, you don't know. You can speak for tomorrow, next year, next 10 years, 5 years, whatever. Um, but I will say like that big removal of energy, because that's what it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what I feel the most. Like just that absence of the energy, and then okay, well, what are you gonna do with all of that life and
Right.
vibrant energy? Because he was a jokester, like nobody's perfect because we had a
Mm-hmm.
stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your couple, you go through your we did couples therapy last year. Look, man, and he buckled down. He was like in there like a great
How
student,
long were y'all together?
like 5 years, 5.5 years.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he was like, yeah, he was the one booking the sessions. You know what I mean? Booking the sessions, doing meditation, doing men's groups here, this and that. He's like, I'm doing this right. I'm getting this right. You know? And then boom, when he essentially gets it right, you know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, yeah,
Right.
you can see a way forward. It's like life is like, bye.
You know.
So that's
You know.
what I was upset at life for. Like, what you trying to say? What you trying to tell me?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that question comes like when you lose people. And one thing I think about, and I mean, it's a weird thought, but I always think about like what grief is worse, the grief of having something new and losing it, or the grief of having something that you have time with
Yeah.
and losing it. Like you said, like I have 9 months, you know what I mean, and I lost it, and so mine is like, damn, what if, you know what I'm saying? What would have been? Like I don't
Eh,
even know how she would have looked, and yours is like 5 years, so yours is like what would have been and memories.
I know. You are very correct. You're very correct. There are these unmet expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the expectations you had, the dreams you had, the wishes you had, the experiences you had that you are like really looking forward to continuing, that no, they cannot continue. And it's just the way that death is. Death is like, for me, it felt like I was running full speed ahead and ran smack dab into a wall, and you just, bro, keep
Yeah.
going. Like that life ended. So it's like, this is it. This is it. So it's gross to really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are you religious?
Yeah. Well,
So
spiritual. I'm a spiritual person. I don't know about religion. I grew
Jesus,
up Catholic, but I love God. I
you grew
believe
up Catholic?
I sure
And
did.
you a Wallace? What
I know, like
the?
all the Wallaces are like Anglican and Methodist and
We're
Seventh
seven
Day.
day Adventists and shit. Yeah, what? Catholic? My goodness, I never heard of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and yeah, I grew up like charismatic.
In
My,
Dominica?
yes, sir. I was timbling and
In
guitaring.
what Wallace tribe were you a Catholic? Because I've never
Uh,
heard of that. And I know it sounds funny, but I'm being dead serious.
no, it's not funny. Most of the ones are not. I don't know many. I know Methodist, Anglican. I don't think my well, I think my grandpa, I don't know what they were, but I was
Do
raised
we have the same
on
grandparents?
the side. So
Do we have the same grandparents?
we are the same, maybe great grandparents, your father said to me. Great or
Okay.
great great. He gave me a history of like taking me to
Yeah.
Scotland, man. I was like,
Jeez.
tell me more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So respectfully, how old are you?
I am 52.
What?
Mhm.
I'm over here thinking you like 39, 40.
You're so kind.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Fitted too. Fitted too. Fitted too.
So you're more mature compared to me.
Hmm.
So do you did you go through that angry I know you went through the angry stage, but did you go through that angry stage and take it out on people?
So I went with my mother, you know. I was angry to the point, but I didn't do it outward. Like I think I was more angry inward, you know. They say anger turned inward is depression. And I stayed clinically depressed for like a good 16 years.
Mm,
But I didn't know about it because you know, back in the islands, ain't nobody getting depression. You
bro,
know,
nobody.
depressed.
For real.
But when I look back and with what I know I was clinically depressed. But I just turned it on the inside. I remember times when I would
That's
just
true.
I would have
I'm
a
gonna send
feeling
you absolutely beautiful ageless. I just wanted to say that.
I just say, oh,
I don't know why it's not telling me who it is, but whoever you are, thank you.
you're so kind. Yeah. But I remember being talking about being religious.
Hmm.
Again, I was charismatic, and there was this little group that I really hung out with. We sang in choirs and that. And I remember being in one of the church in the church one Sunday and having the feeling like if I said I need some glass, I need like bottles, I need glass bottles because that's what I want to do now. I want to smash glass bottles. I feel
Hmm.
so angry, but I haven't felt the kind of rage that I felt with that experience
Yeah.
now. But again, with age and learning
Right.
more efficiently how to feel, like I'm just feeling the sadness more so because I think the anger is what shows up sometimes when the sadness is too much.
Right.
I'm really staying in the sadness. I'm feeling it. Like I said, I'm bawling like a little baby on the bed. I got when I don't have the energy, I am flat down. I'm there until I feel it to get up.
Mm.
So I actually, from the onset, I was like, oh God, I have to give myself time. So I said I have to take 6 months off. And life has made it so that I can do that.
Right.
At 6 months, I can't work really. I'll do what I really must do, but I have to take the time to get my footing.
Yeah. And I think that's and it's crazy because we both have two different ways of grieving, because I because this happened to me like 6 years ago. So I'm 35, so minus six for that. So like I wasn't able to take 6 months. You know what I mean? I took maybe like a month, maybe a couple weeks, and then here in the middle, here and there, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had to keep just
Just
doing,
going.
and I think that fucked me up a little
I
bit
agree. I
because I remember there was this guy, and I remember that he would harass one of my friends. She was a girl, she's a musician, and I
mm,
remember I confronted him, and he was talking all this shit, and something just clicked on me, and I challenged him to a fight.
mm.
It's weird to
Let's take
to
it out on him.
challenge somebody. I challenged him, but then
Yeah.
he was cool with it. But then I said, no, I challenge you to a fight to the death.
Yeah, you were trying to take it out on.
And then he was like, no. And then I was like, nigga, you might be going crazy. And then I checked myself into the psych ward and all that stuff because I don't know how to deal with this shit. And I feel like I still don't know how to, but it's some of the realizations that I have. I was in the Virgin Islands. I went to a group. It was a
Mm-hmm.
grief group, and it was like it was sad because in the island, there's a lot of crime there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only male, and then I'm in my 30s, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm all these women are like 60 and up, and they
Mm-hmm.
talking about how they lost their kids. But
Yeah.
one thing that I felt, I'm not gonna say I learned because can't learn the unknown, but that
Mm.
I felt that I've come to peace with. But I realized me saying this fucked a lot of people up.
Mm.
That I don't think I will ever see my daughter again. Cause I subscribe in like infinite life,
Yeah.
but I don't think that I will see Rosara again. I feel like because she's a part of me, I will cross paths with this the energy, the spirit in every lifetime I have. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
everybody I know in life, like
Mm-hmm.
some type of way, or whatever, but I don't think I'm gonna physically
Mm-hmm.
see Rosara and have that name to this face ever
Mm-hmm.
again. And the pastor was like, yo, like, what? And I'm just like, think about it. How can that even make sense? What about all these good dudes who cheat on their wives? Not like heaven would be a clusterfuck if that's really real. You know what I mean? And so and as harsh as that sounds, that actually helped me. Like it helped me to be like, okay, like you may not see her again, but
Mm-hmm.
now everything has to count.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because I made everything started off counting with her because I
Yeah.
was like, yo, this is like my first child that I'm here for, whatever. First
Yeah.
word, like this is my road dog. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And now I'm 35, like it's 6 years later, and now I'm seeing how to properly be a dad and properly comfort, you know what I'm saying, like my
Mm-hmm.
child, and do the things, because one of the things was Easter was what, a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
last week or
Yeah.
some shit like that. And so when Ro was alive, I took her to church on Easter, but I didn't want to do the Easter pictures. So I
Mm.
didn't do the Easter pictures. But with
Mm.
Devin this year, I was like, yo, whatever y'all want to do, I
Yeah.
am down to do it. We did the Easter pictures, did all the shit. You know what I mean? Because it ain't about me. It ain't
Yeah.
about what I want. You know what I mean? Like I want to make memories and everything like that. And you know,
I get that. Eh, as you were talking, I found myself thinking about the piece where you worry. Well, I worry. And I think for me, that's the worst part. The thought of never seeing him again. I'm
yeah,
like, not even like a phone call, like just show up so we can have a
yeah,
conversation. Yeah,
yeah,
that's very, very, very painful.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's and you know, and that, yes, is very painful because I never got to see her past 9 months. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
never got to see what she would be at 3 or
Yeah.
4 or something. You know what I mean? When she's walking and talking and stuff. And
Mhm.
it's a very hard pill to swallow, but I realized like that's what life is. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Once I lost Ro, and then
Mhm.
it's just like I lost my grandma a little bit later. I lost
Mhm.
one of my best friends
Yeah.
last year when I was in the islands. One of my friends got murdered. You know what I mean? And so I'm starting to just get used to the feeling of lostness, but
Yeah.
I'm not used to the feeling of not seeing.
I know. It is not cool.
You know what I mean? And I feel like as humans, we know death is the only thing that's certain in life, but
Mhm.
I feel like we're not supposed to witness any type of death. Like
Hmm.
I feel like we're not supposed to. I mean, even last year, my one of my first dogs I had with one of my ex, he died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And rest in peace, Ali. And I'm just like, I miss that nigga too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm like, I feel like we are not like right as parents, we're not supposed to bury our kids. And I feel like as in your case, you're supposed to grow old with your
Exactly.
loved
I'm
one. You know what
supposed
I
to be
mean?
right here, but I'm supposed to be there
And
at the
then I
yeah.
like yo, I have to applaud you. If I had a soundboard, I'll play it. I have to applaud you because I look at our situation, and I'm like, man, my daughter died on this day, and
Mhm.
then our birthdays is in July, and
Mm.
yours is like your dude died in December, and your wedding day was in February. Like
And my birthday was January.
you see, yo, I don't know how you like. I would be reckless
And
out
you
there
have
if I were you, man.
Valentine's Day, you have all
Oh
kinds
my
of
god,
Christmas. I had it all. I had like Christmas, I had New Year's, and my birthday. I'm like, what?
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you what's the conversation with God like then?
What's the conversation like with God? I
Like,
surrender.
are you mad?
Surrender. No, God, I surrender because let me tell you again. I think He prepped me for that this kind of year, um, or at least the experience with my mom. It took
Mm,
a long time for me to get it
right.
because I spent a lot of time trying to understand it back then
Yeah.
until I had an epiphany that I it's not like I don't have to understand it. There's no
Right.
understanding it.
Right. Right.
Accept it. I have to accept that it
That
is.
is true. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
acceptance you have to get to. And so I understand that now because I understand that the trying to understand it is not going to get me anywhere. It's very painful. It's like knocking your head against a wall. I don't
Hmm.
understand. Why?
Yeah.
If you can waste, for me, well, it wasn't wasted time because it brought me to the lesson,
Right.
but it was a lot of time, a lot of pain. And so now I'm just like, okay, I'm angry still, but I have to accept it. I accept
Hmm.
it. I surrender to whatever the divine plan is because I don't see everything. I don't know everything. And like you just said, this is the nature of this life we're living. And I remember too, because it was so dark for me with my mom, I made a promise, like I almost made a vow. I will never go that low again, not even for my kids.
Mm.
I said I can't
Yeah.
because if I do, I will die. And so it's about acceptance, accepting, feeling it like, my stomach. I met one of his friends today for lunch, right? And of
Hmm.
course, you go, you're trying to eat a little,
Yeah.
you're trying to eat a little scrimp, but it's like when you see people, when I see
Yeah.
the, is that feeling. When I see his friends and our friends, is that feeling.
Hmm.
But I was telling her it's like like there's raw something on the inside. It's like there's a wound on the inside.
Yeah.
Flesh is raw. I can feel it raw in my body. I mean, I don't know what level um um awareness that is, but it's a real pain. It's a real pain.
So, I mean, are you prepared to live this shit? Because I mean, that's crazy. Like December, January, February. Because for me, I tried to hold my breath past 420, and I
Mhm,
tried to hold my breath
mhm.
past July 21st through July 23rd. But you have to hold your breath for a couple times in 3 months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The February 22nd one was the one I was like, okay, I can't. I won't be able to.
That was the wedding.
Breath, yeah. Speaking of breaths, I ended up in the hospital
Hmm.
one night because I couldn't catch my breath.
Hmm.
Like one day the pain was so heavy, I just couldn't catch my breath. It felt like. And so
Yeah.
my son was like, okay, I'm not losing both parents in 1 year.
Right. Right.
You go into the emergency room whether or not you want it.
Right.
And when I went, there was one enzyme, a heart enzyme was elevated. Apparently, I was having some sort of heart event. And
Mm.
if I had not maybe gone in to check it, I might have had a heart
Ay, ay.
something, you know? But it's this grief stuff, it's no joke. It is no
You know
joke.
what's crazy? I can't really compare the stories, but like you said, you went to the your son took you to the hospital, made you go to the hospital. That
Mm,
could have potentially saved you from something crazier.
yeah.
Funny thing is, after my daughter's funeral, I was drinking at the crib, I was smoking, I was like taking, I think, Xanax or something, and I
Mhm.
was like on some like let's go,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean let's go in a bad way, but
I know what you mean.
but but
What you
I
mean.
I hear this banging at my door. And usually I'm a peek through the blinds type dude, but I
Mm.
didn't. I just opened the door and it was the fucking cops, and I had a warrant for my arrest. And I feel like that saved my life.
Saved your life. Saved your life.
Yeah. Like
Saved
that
your life.
literally saved my life. And I mean, I was like so like smacked when they came that when I
Mm.
went to jail, I was just like I told them what happened. And so they put me on suicide watch. They put me in
Yeah.
a padded cell, and then
Yeah.
they put me in the cell by myself. So like I was whatever. But in that time, I just thought like, man, I was about to kill myself. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was about to kill myself, and I had talked myself up to it and had the courage to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because any other times, like in my shout out my boy Wade, he's from the islands.
Mhm.
In any time that I had that suicidal feeling, I always talk myself down on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And no, nobody knows this story. I'm not gonna go into detail, but when I was in the islands, there was a time that I was this close to committing suicide. I
Mm.
mean, had the shit around my neck and everything. The
Yeah.
only thing that stopped me, and this was in like December, the
Yeah.
only thing that stopped me is that my brother was getting out of jail
Mm.
January 1st. And I
Mm.
said, I can't do that to him.
Yeah. Mm.
Can't.
Mm.
And that, oh man, I probably shouldn't even said that. My mom might be watching shit,
You know,
but
life be life in. Life be life in, man. Life.
yeah, life, it lifes, and
Yeah.
after Rosara's death, the people that I have met in my life, like after her death, and the people that's kind of been there, I feel
Mm.
like that's the my mom's watching. Oh man, I'm better now, mom.
It's all right. It's much better. And even the talking, listen to me, man. Storytelling is one of the most
I
powerful
know. I
ways.
just get embarrassed when mom watch it. That's all, man. Uh, but but I feel like the people that I have in my life now are the
Yeah.
people that I need in my life.
Yes. 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 Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it sucks because when I think about those times that I wanted to hurt myself and all that stuff, like that really hurts me. Like
Yeah.
it hurts me to think about that. And now, like I think about my kids, you know what I mean? And then I
Yeah.
think about Stink, and I'm just like, like I have to be here for all of this. I got
Yeah.
too many goddamn kids
Yeah.
to you know what I'm saying, to just
Yeah.
to be gone. Thank you, Will. It's a Final Fantasy 7 shirt. But I'm sorry, I'm answering the chat and stuff. But I I don't know my purpose in life,
Mm-hmm.
but my friends and family have showed me purpose to life, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yes.
So I,
Yes.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I know I'm supposed to be here doing
Yeah.
something because I know I'm not a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? I
Exactly.
know I'm a decent person.
And let me tell you, man, sometimes that's the purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the purpose. Sometimes that's the purpose. You talk about suicidal thinking. I I didn't I didn't feel suicidal. I wouldn't say that. I would say I thought to myself, what's the point of all this? What are we doing? Like why is this stuff happening? Like
Yo,
what
as a therapist, what are you, a therapist?
yeah, psychology.
Psychologist? As a
Mhm.
psychologist, who do you talk to? Because I remember when when I hit you up and was like, "Yo, how you doing?" I
Mhm.
didn't even know. I feel like I think I even told my girl, like, I was like, I don't even know how to come at her
Mhm.
because because I think highly of you, but to me, you're top tier, and so I feel like, what can I say to her? But also, I know how it feels when somebody is hitting you up, and I don't want to seem like I'm being nosy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I kind of just was like, "Hey, you good? All right, cool."
You
But
were pitch perfect. You were pitch perfect because I found myself, talking about the people who kind of like you need around you or you want around you, like they who need to be there. Like it's kind of like you just felt, well, who's feeling good for me right now? Like, I, and
yeah,
I and I was just rolling with that. Like I just buried my head. Really, I'm like,
mhm,
I can't. I know a lot of people care about me, but I can only take so much,
mhm,
and I can only take so much from certain people. And those
mm,
are the people I was saying yes to. So like for real, I just kind of like I'm just saying what's feeling good, what's feeling like I can absorb it. I'm
right,
taking the calls, I'm taking the texts. Like you, I know you feel me.
yeah, yeah,
You understand? So
mhm,
like you were or you did not because when you're going through this stuff, the psychologist is going through it. You just
right,
a girl,
yeah,
a boy she loved. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And so, yeah, I've had to do that where I just kind of put a circle around me of
right,
if I hadn't been hearing from people like say if I have many friends and I knew my son would run interference and he would tell people, yeah, she said she will call back when she can talk,
mhm,
that kind of thing. If I hadn't heard from certain people like within like 2 months, I was like, I'm gonna have to seal you out for a while.
yeah, yep,
I don't like
mhm,
I couldn't handle every 2 months a person would reach out, hey, uh,
yeah,
it
because
just was
it doesn't feel genuine.
does not feel genuine.
Mhm,
I'm like, if you love me and you know this thing is happening to me,
yeah.
you're I was supposed to say you're a rascal. Better be so
But let me ask you this: is that us being selfish in the grief?
say that again.
Is that us being selfish?
I think maybe, but it could be. But I also think a lot of people don't know how to be. You see that feeling you were just talking about,
Right,
where
right.
I don't want to be. Am I going to step on this? Am I going to make her feel worse? Some
Yeah,
people, but look, but me, I need those people who going to bust through my door anyway and text me anyway and check up on me anyway. I don't want that kind of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, show me that you're there. You don't have to say a word. Just
Yeah.
check in. Yo, what's
Like
up?
I have like four good best friends. Thiago, Will, Josh, and Dube. Thiago and Josh know how to handle me. You know what I mean? Me
Yeah.
and Thiago went to school together. You know what I mean? Me and Josh, we've all these friends I named, we've all been here for like 10 years.
Hmm.
But Doob and Will, they don't know how to approach the topic, so they approach me normal,
Yeah.
like without talking about the grief shit
Right.
or whatever, but just having a normal. And so for me, I'm like, I either want somebody who knows how to handle me or just be normal with me.
Just call. Hey, just make normal conversation.
Yeah,
But at least you're there.
because I remember the day Ro died, my friend Doob hit me up and said, "Yo, I don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna talk to you regularly."
That's it.
And he
That's
it
it.
didn't bring up nothing. We talked about music, we talked about whatever, and like, and that
That's
was it.
it.
And I still remember that 6 years later, and that meant so much to me for
Absolutely.
somebody to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you," because you have people who are like, "Oh, what happened?" Well, and you're not trying to talk about it because
Exactly.
if you realize, I this is my first time I asked you what happened.
First
You know
time
what I
in
mean?
4 months.
Right, because I was like, I can't. I know how it feels,
Yeah.
so it's a touchy thing because I feel like at the end everybody means well, whether they're nosy or not. I
I
feel
think
like people mean well, but I feel like at this point, we have to be selfish. We have to pick and choose like who we want now because it's a very critical time. Like even right now is a critical time for me, and even like it's like I look at myself like one of those good kids that they're bad because school isn't enough for them. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like my
yeah.
girl, like last month, I was tripping, and she was like, "Hey, I know that time's coming up." You know what I'm saying? And I was
Hmm.
just like, "Damn!" Like I have a pattern. You know what I mean? I have a pattern. Like once March comes up, I start getting weird. I
Yeah,
start getting really weird, and I
yeah.
start getting really moody, and I start saying F
Yeah.
you. I know my mom's watching now, so I'm not gonna curse. I started saying F you to a lot of people, and for her to tell me that, it made me, it helped me. It made me feel good because it helped me be honest with myself
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
be like, all right, DJ, this is coming up. And you get kind of weird, you know what I mean? And there's very few people like my girl, my boy Josh. There's very few people that know me to the T where
yeah,
they will call me out on it and be like, hey, we know it's coming up, whatever, whatever. And that
yeah,
actually makes me feel better.
yeah.
But I like this because we're both Wallaces. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't any slight, but like you're a psychologist.
Hmm.
So like I would assume you would probably have more bread than me because you travel, whatever. So I like looking at this because it's looking at grief from a term from a person who can't really take off all the time and travel, and then somebody who can, you know what I mean? And honestly, like I learned from your shit, and I love watching you, like seeing you just out there because I'm just like, did she lose somebody? You know what I mean? Because you just out there, you live in life, and I love that you're doing that. At one point, I said, "Does she even have a job?" Because every time I look up, like you're in Jamaica somewhere, or you're in Rome somewhere, and I'm just like, "This is not Georgia." But I love that you're doing that, though. You know what I mean? Because
What? I'm telling you, like that activity. So like the girls, right, in Rome. So I would be there with doing the live. And on one of the trips, one of the little thingies, my phone died, so I couldn't do the live.
mhm,
What do you think I was doing instead?
you're crying,
For real, because the grief is right there. It's like right there
We-
underneath.
and the live helps.
Oh my God, because it
Yeah,
takes me out of myself.
yeah.
Takes me out of myself. I did one training, two trainings, and I mean, I would remember I'd be just there, like with you, right? Like talking and teaching, and I would get up, we'd take a little 10-minute break, and I'd go cry because it's like the grief is there. It's not going away.
Hmm.
When you're doing these other things, which I call behavioral activation, which is called behavioral activation, it pulls you out of yourself.
Right.
So you must do these. If you're doing the live, you're trying your best not to boo-hoo. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the longer you can do that, it's the longer stretches you have of
Hmm.
a little bit of sane time, because all else, like I'm telling you, like straight up one of the nights, I'm not a drinker. I'm a lightweight. They went and got me a bottle of tequila to knock me
Jeez,
out.
you said a bottle, not a shot, a
I did
bottle.
not drink the whole bottle. Yeah, they were like, yeah, yeah, you need something tonight.
Yeah,
Like, well,
yeah.
yeah. And then I don't remember a thing after that until the next morning.
Hmm.
Yeah. But, you know, I do think you were saying something important too. When you have somebody who's grieving, they're not they're not the ones who's supposed to make other people feel good or
Right.
cool. And
Hmm.
you're allowed to be a whatever age.
Hmm.
If you're grieving, you're
Right.
allowed to
Right.
all those, and I that's the thing. I'm telling you, the emotions I felt, I'm like, I don't even know the word for these feelings.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't even know, because I
Yeah.
don't even remember these kinds of emotions all at the same time, and all of them at a 10 at the same time. It's like you don't want to be in your body.
Right.
My son kept doing his thing. He kept reminding me. He said, "Mom, I know you might be thinking about it might be easier to be with him right now and go with him, but please stay. Please don't go. You know, we need you here. We need you here. We need you
Yeah.
here." And I'd be, you know, my eyes would be open, but it's like he knows his mom, so he knows he's not really seeing his
Yeah.
mom in my eyes, you know.
Hmm.
So having them as well, like you were saying with the baby, having them and knowing too that they're still suffering, because like I said, it took me 16 years for my mom. Their dad just died Mother's Day. It's not even a year yet for them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that helped me stay like, okay, I can't see what's in front of me, but all right, my eyes are open anyway. You know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Damn. Were you and your baby dad cool?
Yeah, we were cool. Like he was very involved with them, you know.
All your
Um,
kids are grown.
yeah, 22 and 24.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He had
Damn.
two younger ones, but we were cool. I mean, we had been divorced for so long, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you've met the circle and you come back to where you can be friends.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know
Yeah. 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 Jeez.
what I mean? Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I was thinking if I had anything else, I would say that before we go is that this from the time we spoke last year to
Mhm,
this year,
mhm.
like I said, a lot has happened. I had a baby. Oh, I got my Texas driver's license finally.
Woo.
I've been having a Virgin Islands license. Boy, they give you hell about that shit here, man. They be like, cause on it says not for federal use, and so you go places and they're like, well, and I'm like, well, it's still a ID, and I'm still 35, so
Yeah.
whatever. But I think that um oh, shout out my boy Josh too, because we do like this little media business stuff, and we go interview people. And there's an artist who has a show tonight, and he wanted us to come do some interviews, but my boy was like, nah, because we're gonna, like, 420 is like we honor my daughter, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him for that. And shout out you. I mean, I've like I said, I feel good, and I come to terms and stuff, but I come to terms with that I'm gonna be grieving for the rest of my life. But I feel like I come to that term every year, but I
Yeah.
don't think that's a problem. I feel like that's okay. Like if I gotta come to that term every year, then it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Simple. Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. It is what it is. Simple.
But like I said, I'm just I always love when it's like nighttime on 420, because I'm like, yo, this day is gonna be over. And like for real.
I have to.
Like
Ooh.
I don't like everybody like, oh, 420 smoke. I'm like, I don't celebrate it, you know what I mean? So I just chill,
Yeah.
so but like last night it was like I was just listening to music, and there's a term, I don't know if you heard it, but it's called being on demon time. And that's how I felt last night. Like I told my homeboy, I was like, man, I'm I said niggas are lucky I don't live in the hood, because I was just standing outside last night, 3 in the morning, just chilling. But I was like, if I lived in the hood, I would definitely be looking for some type of trouble.
You get
But
it?
I feel like God or the higher power, whoever is watching out for me,
Yeah.
my daughter. So do you have any last words?
Life, last words. Life is gonna happen. You know,
Yeah.
life is gonna life. There's all of us. None of us is getting out of here alive.
Yeah.
So, I think sometimes when you lose somebody, right? Other people might be like, "Oh my God!" Like it almost can feel to some people like death is a sickness. Let me watch out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna catch it. Somebody, you know what I mean? It's
It's
gonna come.
certain. It's
It is
certain.
certain. It is certain. And when we lose people, like with him, I'm doing my best to honor him. See, like you're doing for real. I'm
Yeah.
doing my best to
Oh,
honor
what was his name?
Glenn.
Glenn, what, Camp
Campana.
who?
Campana. Like whole lasagna. Oh, you say lasagna. Campania.
Glenn Campagna.
Yeah.
Rest
Oh,
in peace, Glenn Campagna.
say Campana. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's important to honor whatever it is you had with your person, baby, your wife, your spouse, your whatever, good,
Ooh,
bad, all the positives, everything, and
I said this the other day. I'm sorry to cut you off.
yeah, that's okay.
Um, I'm the other day. I said this before, that I got this from Neil deGrasse Tyson, because he always said that the universe isn't obligated to make sense to you, and it's
Yeah,
just we're for real, because the universe is crazy. And I always thought the world isn't obligated to give a fuck about how you feel. The world isn't obligated to care about your losses. And I had to learn it the hard way, because when I that was a big loss for me.
yeah,
So I felt like the world had to care
yeah,
about what I was going through. That the world, you know what I mean? But it's like, nah, niggas still get evicted, niggas still gotta
that's right.
pay rent, still gotta do whatever, you know what I mean? And that let me know the world don't care. You know what I mean?
And
And so
I hated realizing that. I
mm-hmm,
really hate realizing that because people, some people can only be around you in your pain for so long.
mm-hmm.
And outside of the close circle that will even do that, the rest of the world life is
Yeah,
happening. And
yeah.
you there. Sometimes it feels like, they're leaving me behind, but it's just a matter of being present. This is what's happening right now. What did it come to show me? I'm grateful. Whatever it is, it showed up to show me. And a lot of it, I won't see it. I won't know. I'm
Right.
trusting that big life plan, that we like to say that God has divine, Most High has for us.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I'm just trying to live each day out and not be laid up on the bed. That's that.
Yeah. And
Any day I get to not do that, I'm winning.
and even when I said that comment the other day, my boy Ono, he's lost a child like long ago, but he just recently lost his mom. And I
Mm,
remember checking up on him and being like, yo, bro, I love you, hope you good, hit me up, you need anything. And
mhm,
then I just went on about my shit, and
mhm.
then I was just like, yo, I I don't have to care, but I'm going to care. You know what I mean? So when friends lose people, I always try to check up on them. I
Yeah,
don't do it all the time because I don't want to seem too pushy or whatever.
yeah.
But I realize like the world isn't obligated to care, but like I feel like sometimes it's my obligation to care.
Because you have inside knowledge,
Right.
because you
Right.
have inside knowledge, inside experience, you know how much it means for you when people care.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
when do you also do a podcast or a live or stream? When do you do that?
So I'm usually on every Thursday from 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm
Okay.
talking, I say I teach people how to think better, to feel better, to do better. And tomorrow I'm talking about Yo, if you got any of these four things I'm talking about tomorrow in your relationship, better watch out.
What?
It's a good predictor of a breakup.
Oh.
Oh,
And that's at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
at 7 o'clock Eastern.
So 6 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern.
Eastern time. Yep, on my page and on my YouTube channel and on LinkedIn.
What's your page? Because my friends are
On
asking, is this on
YouTube,
YouTube?
my page is Transforming Trauma on YouTube. It's Transforming Trauma with
Oh,
the
you have hold on, let me transforming trauma,
trauma,
you say?
Dr. Triffy.
Uh
Yes,
you
yes, it's on YouTube.
is that how you spell trauma? Is that
It's on
right?
Transforming Trauma with Dr. Triffy. Right? That's good spelling.
Hold on.
And then on Margaret Wallace, on my Dr. Triffy page as well.
I did
Uh,
not.
you
How are
are-
we family? I didn't even know you had a YouTube page. Jesus
That's
Christ.
your sister trying to
Is
get the word.
that right? Is that correct spelling?
With like Transforming Trauma, WITH, Dr. Triffy. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I just did the
that's right. That's right. It's cool.
the lazy with, but that's
Yeah.
dope. I'm definitely gonna
There you
subscribe and
go.
check that
There you
out.
go. Yeah. So,
My last words would be first, thank you for being on here. It's always a pleasure. To be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna do this every year just because like I don't be feeling like I'm mentally up to it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I feel like next year, like Stink is gonna be running around causing havoc. So I don't know, but I'm always gonna honor Rosario, but I just don't know if I'm gonna always do this. But I'm pretty sure I will do it at least three more times before I die. So that might be once a decade, but I my last words or my whatever would be don't take life for granted.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't take life for granted and don't hold grudges.
Oh yes.
That's
a good one, man. That's a good one. The last words I said to him was "I love you," because we
That's
always
good.
do that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll see you. Okay, love you," and that felt so good because
Yeah.
it wasn't. Ooh.
Yeah.
So take life for granted and tell people you love them. Enjoy beautiful things, and live your life. Live your life.
This is great. I'm gonna go. I gotta go be a dad again. So,
That's right.
but I love it though. Like I said, I mean it's so crazy because Ro and Stink do like they're like one and the same. They do the same things that quirky things. Like they both do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just like, that can't be you. But I'm just like, oh well, she's a part of me, so it's a part of me. You know what I mean? And like all I would say, and this is I say this funnily, but I have a dark humor. Losing a child will fuck your mind up. So
Absolutely.
so like that's where I'm at right now. My mind is just mashed potatoes all the time. And I love the people who still are in my life. You know what I mean? Because I know that I'm grumpy. I gotta tell my kids all the time, like, yo, my bad. You know what I mean? I don't bring it up a lot, but sometimes I tell my kids, like, hey, like your sister left, this is, because sometimes I'm over the top. And then sometimes I'm just the best dad in the world. And then sometimes I'm just mute. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking to be fair to everybody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But right now, my main focus to being fair is with my kids, my girl, my brother, my mom.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then everything else I feel like will fall in line. And my friends that I talk to all the time pretty much keep me in check. So, so enjoy the rest of your day. You got anybody at your house?
My son is with me.
Okay, what up, son?
He said, "What's up, bro?"
So that's good. That's good. You're not alone, man. I'll shoot you a text sometime this weekend. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am.